Fast food and luxury are probably two words that should never go together, but Shake Shack begs to differ. They just rolled out a limited edition black truffle burger. To my knowledge, it is the most expensive burger you can get from a fast food chain anywhere in the world. And I'll be honest, it actually looks really damn good. But the real question is that price tag worth it? Today, I'm gonna head to Shake Shack and pick one of these up. I'll then give you an honest review and come back here and make a better version. And of course, everything will be homemade. Now let's go. So here's the thing, you can get a decent fast food burger for like $2.50 nowadays. And this thing costs $8.79. Now, if it's real truffle, that's legit. But if I'm paying this much for a truffle burger, then it better punch me in the mouth with truffle. But that's not it. I did my research, and I think the price of the fries are gonna surprise you even more. They're Parmesan garlic fries with a truffle sauce on the side that'll run you $4.79. What?
What?
Can you give us the lowdown on the truffle burger? Do you like it? It's bomb? I just want to know if it lives up to the hype, that's all.
Oh yeah, it definitely.
Then you look, there's a smiley on the bag.
Huh.
They liked me. If you were asking me how this is gonna be based on the smell, it's already got the chef's kiss from me. All right, let's break this thing down a little bit here. I'm not exaggerating when I say that the smell of this is absolutely fantastic. I can safely say that it's better than any smell I've ever gotten out of a fast food bag right away. Now, as you can see here, I really loaded it up today because I want to have plenty to try. In fact, I got one of these burgers just to open it up and break it down to all its parts. If I'm being honest, this thing looks absolutely fire. Not to mention the smell coming off of this whole burger here. And the fact that I can tell this is a perfect, delicious smash patty. And just look at all that golden brown texture right on the edge here. Those beautiful crispy onions. You already know this is gonna be a knockout burger. But is it a $10 burger? I don't know yet. I don't wanna waste any food, but I'm gonna break this burger down to all its parts. To top it all off, I have those really fluffy potato buns, which look like they were toasted quite well. Layered onto both of those buns is that really nice, thick black truffle sauce, and it actually looks like we have a lot of texture in there. Right here, we have a heap of beautiful crispy onions. And last but not least, we have a generously sized smash patty with a bunch of melted Gruyere cheese over the top. And again, I cannot stress how good all of this smells. Before I dive in, I'd go so far as to say that they might have made the patties a little bit too large on these, which I get it. You're giving us a better bang for our buck here in a sense. But at the same time, I want those proportions to be perfect on a burger. And these are far from that. And the last thing before taking a bite I want to say is this. They are not fooling me for a second with this sauce here. All those little mushroom bits in there are real mushroom. They're not truffle. They're trying to fool you into thinking that that truffle oil they put into the aioli is actually really made up of all real truffle bits, but that would be impossible. Yet, fortunately for you, Shake Shack, I have come prepared with my own beautiful black truffles. To start, I'm gonna shave this liberally all over this burger, because after all, I do want some real truffle texture in there. Now that right there is real black truffle. And yes, I've exaggerated the amount of truffle I put on here to prove a point. But now and only now is this burger ready to be truly called a black truffle burger, in my opinion. To close things out here, it's time to take a bite. No more talking, just eating. I'll be honest, it is a
Damn good burger.
We've got those soft potato buns on the outside. They're so fluffy, like clouds when you bite into them. Then you get those crispy onions for texture and that melty Gruyere cheese for that cheesy goodness all throughout each bite. And don't forget what's really ringing up the price tag, the black truffle sauce, which is laid all over that really nice smash patty. This is a damn good burger right here, but let me ask you a question. Do you think we can make this better at home? I say we go find out. All right, we're headed back now, but I wanted to say something. You all know me, you know that I don't eat that much food. And while I'm not picky, you know that I really only like eating a lot of it if it's really, really good. Many can vouch for the fact that I literally just finished that entire burger in one sitting and I loved it. And we made it back. To be honest, I'm still really excited they left a smiley face for us on the bag. Now that we know this burger from top to bottom, let's make one at home, but better. To start, we're gonna make our homemade potato buns. First, we'll go in with 5 tablespoons of leftover potato water. I'll explain what that means in just a moment. While whisking, I'll then add in 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar. Then again, while whisking, I'll go in with 1 packet of active dry yeast. We'll then let this sit for 5 minutes to let the yeast wake up. Once that yeast has bloomed, we'll then go in with just a little pinch of salt, and then we'll rice a ½ pound of russet potatoes straight into that yeast mixture. A ricer is key here because we really want those buns to be nice and fluffy. We'll follow this with 2½ cups of bread flour, 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and last but not least, 1 large egg. Then we let it mix. Once that dough is complete, the way she wobble, way she wobble, way she wobble, yeah. We'll toss down that dough ball and get it nice and smooth. Of all the dough balls I've ever made, of which there are a lot, this one is on the smoother end.
Smooth as a baby's bottom, one might say.
Now we'll toss a bit of oil into my bowl, and in goes our dough. I'll then cover this up with plastic wrap and rest it for an hour and a half. I hope I'm not gonna take any of you by surprise today in the fact that we're gonna be using Wagyu beef. Specifically, this is an A5 olive Wagyu Japanese ribeye. Many say that olive Wagyu is the best in the world. And lucky for us, it just so happens that I have a bunch of scraps from this exact same cut of meat. Now with all that said, it's time to grind. Now that the beef is ground up, we'll set this aside and get back to those buns. This dough rose really well. And now comes my favorite part of all bread making. You're fired. Seriously, this is your last day here. Get out. Fortunately, at this point, I always know Manny's gonna slap the dough, so I always make an additional dough for myself to spank. At this point, we'll cut in with our bench scraper and make our dough into a bunch of pieces. The key here is not to press down on the dough too hard because we want it to stay nice and fluffy. To make those perfect buns, pinch all the way around each small piece, then flip them over and roll around between your fingers until you have a perfect smooth bun. This may be tricky the first time around, but once you get it, you'll get it forever. And once our buns are rolled out, we'll cover yet again and rest for half an hour to let them rise. It's time to start our sauce, and can anyone guess what's under this rice? I'll give you a hint. It comes from the mushroom family. If you guessed truffle, you're right. These bad boys right here were shipped straight from Italy. And as you can see, we got a lot of them. These black truffles right here are so incredibly potent that when stored in the fridge, it makes the entire fridge smell like that umami goodness. Like I mentioned earlier, the Shake Shack sauce doesn't actually have any truffle bits in there. Instead, it's real mushroom. But if I'm paying for a $10 burger, you'd better believe I want that truffle all over me. This beautiful marbled interior is one of the many signs of a perfect truffle. For our sauce, we'll keep it simple. A little bit of mayonnaise is the base, which is always good. We'll then go in with just a touch of black truffle oil, then a little bit of flaky salt, a tiny dollop of sour cream to give some of that tartness, and last but not least, plenty of black truffle. And when I say plenty, I mean plenty. I think you and I have a different definition of plenty. Now that there's black truffle quite literally everywhere, I'll mix up my sauce. And what you're looking at here is the perfect black truffle sauce. Simple, not busy, and highlighting the true main ingredients. Let's quickly prepare the rest of the ingredients while we wait for those buns to rise just a bit longer. First, we'll just grate up a bunch of Gruyere cheese, a really good melting cheese that's slightly sweet and just a little bit fruity. Now, last but not least, it's time to make those crispy fried shallots. Above all, these are gonna give us really nice texture. We just wanna make sure that these are as crispy as possible, because these are gonna let that texture stand out a lot. Now it's finally time to bake, but first comes one of my favorite parts in all of cooking, painting our buns with egg wash. This is a time to go crazy in the kitchen. Really lather them up. Now we'll toss these in the oven at 375 Fahrenheit till golden brown. While those buns are baking, let's toast off this shallot. All it takes here is a gentle shake back and forth to let those get nice and crispy. Now once those shallots are nice and crispy, we'll take them off the heat. You know your pans are clean and you can wave to people right in them. I can even say hi this way too. At this point, we'll go in with just a little bit of oil, and it's finally time to cook those patties. I'll roll this up into a nice ball, and once that oil's nice and hot, in we go. At this point, it's time to flip. Place on some of that Gruyere cheese, and I now hope that it won't be a surprise to anybody that we're gonna use the flamethrower to melt that cheese. In all of our excitement over the buns, we almost burnt them, but I'll say this. Fortunately, they're perfect. I mean, I don't think I could have done the timing better if I tried. If you take nothing else from this video, make homemade buns. It'll make you happy. It's finally time to assemble our burger, and to start, we're gonna slice into that soft, fluffy potato bun. You can see right away that this thing looks perfect. And yes, I'm extremely excited about it. I've never tossed potato into a bread dough, and based on how light and fluffy these look, I'm gonna start doing it more often. To start, we'll go on with our cheesy, crispy patty. I love all that crispy Gruyere cheese hanging off the edge. To me, that shows we're not messing around. We'll then go on with some of that black truffle aioli and make sure to give
More than enough.
last but not least, a generous serving of that beautiful crispy onion. And I hope you didn't trust me when I said last but not least, because now it's truffle time. Here we'll do a mixture of both finely shaved truffle as well as a few nice truffle rings. Everybody watching, let me just tell you this. You pair the burger we just made with those truffle fries from Shake Shack and you've got yourself a meal for a king or a queen or whoever you want. This burger situation right here is something I'd call heavenly. Before I bite into this burger, let's all take one final look at it. I think we can all agree it's perfect. Let's dive in. I know it's all over my face right now, but to be honest, I want it all over my face. Thanks, Mandy. You're welcome. I think it's fair for me to say that our burger wins, but if I'm gonna make a claim like that, I'll tell you exactly why. First of all, that crispy cheese on the edge. Something about it adds another layer of texture. Those crispy shallots get a little bit soggy in all that sauce, but if you've got an extra bit of crisp with that Gruyere cheese on the edge, in addition, of course, to the gooey Gruyere cheese that sits atop the burger itself, everything comes together in a perfect harmony. I'll leave the recipe for the potato buns in the description below because they were perfect. And in the meantime, I'll remind you to toss a like on the video and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.